My experience in World War II actually started on September 1st, 1939, when Hitler marched into Poland. At that time, I was working at the Associated Press here in the Washington Bureau on the dictation desk. We were attacked by Japanese at Pearl Harbor in Philippines on December 7, 1941. President Franklin Roosevelt addressed the joint session of Congress in the House chamber, of course, and I was there. I went over from the Senate side to see President Roosevelt give what is known today as his Day in Infamy speech.
In infamy.
After that speech, later on that day, I went down to the Navy recruiting office and enlisted in the Navy. I was assigned to a destroyer after training in Norfolk, Virginia, and Bainbridge boot camp in Maryland. I went to the ship, the USS Gendreau, destroyer Escort number 639. That ship was assigned as a convoy, a ship, plane guard for aircraft carriers, convoy for the merchant ships, the maritime ships that were carrying supplies to the South Pacific and to the other invasions and warfare in the Pacific Islands. Anytime you're on a warship and on a ship in the Navy, you're subject to danger 24 hours a day. From just the routine sailing of a ship in the Pacific, you had storms, you had potential enemy contact with submarines. So we were targets for any submarine, and we were actively seeking the enemy submarines, the Japanese submarines. We were at Okinawa from the end of March through the successful operation of the Okinawa, subject to the tremendous kamikaze attacks. The kamikazes were horrible enemy. They would crash into the planes aimed at the superstructure, the command center of the Navy ships. And we had 6 such attacks and either shot down the avenging kamikaze or evaded the kamikaze, and the ship, instead of striking our ship, was splashed into the adjacent water, the sea surrounding us. At the same time as the kamikazes were heavier in the Okinawa area, we had 2 major typhoons, and I think the typhoons were almost as horrible and as challenging as any of the kamikazes. There were 2 destroyers that had been capsized by the typhoons. We had very good captain who knew how to handle the ship, and the waves were like mountains. It seemed like 1 minute we were down in the valley of the waves in the trough and looking up at the mountainous waves, and next thing we were on top of the waves. And it took a skillful ship handler to survive such an attack of weather as well as kamikaze.